is a follow-up video for planting the cherry blossoms. Today is April 14th. These cherry blossoms that I have here have been sitting in water since March 29th that I know of. I don't know how long before that they were actually cut. They're from a wedding. These ones were just given to me like 2 days ago, so I'm not sure the best condition that they are, but I'm going to try a couple different methods of dealing with these. I'm going to have these ones, which are just cutting it into smaller pieces and putting in dirt. This one, I'm going to try dipping it in honey instead of the rooting hormone, which these ones will have. Sorry for my dog and if you hear my toddler during this video. And this last one, I'm actually going to try something else different, and I'm going to put some rooting hormone in water and soak it a little bit and then plant it up in a day or two and see how that does. So I'm going to get started by cutting these into smaller pieces and dipping them in some rooting hormone here. And this is the same one I had in my first video, the Garden Safe Take Root Rooting Hormone. Alright, so I'm going to try taking some pieces off of this. So I was suggested to do like 12 to 18 inches on these, so I'm going to see maybe about here and see how that does. Because I don't want huge pieces, and these are already looking kind of sad, like the leaves are kind of dying on them, so I'm going to see if they will recover at all. Take the flowers off because they're just dead at this point. I'm going to scrape up the bottom of this a little bit, get some of the bark off. Show you what I'm doing here. So I am taking this down to be green and taking the bark off. That's how I've seen other videos doing it. As I said in my first video, I have no idea what I'm doing. That's why I am doing some different experimental things here, where I'm going to be doing these smaller pieces than I did last time. I'm going to be trying rooting hormone versus honey, and I'm also going to be trying doing water. So we will see if any of these methods end up being effective, because I am trying every which way to make sure that I have at least a couple of these cherry blossoms survive. Alright, so I'm dipping it, and I'm going to rub off some of the extra here. And I'm going to put it in there, make it tight. And I've already watered up the dirt, so the dirt's nice and wet, because I want the dirt wet. I don't want to water these in because it will wash off the rooting hormone. So the rooting hormone says to keep moist, but not to like water. And my kid is going to step directly on what I'm working on. Lucas, please. Go play, dude. Go play. Oh, look at the trash truck. You hear the trash truck? Yes. There we go. So this one has actually a little green on the top here. This one has green leaves, so this one's looking a little better than that other branch that I took from. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to take some of the bark off. This bark actually has some lichens on it, so I'm guessing it's from a rather established tree. And I'm just using my normal clippers here to scrape it down a little bit. I probably have other clippers that might work better, but this is what I had on hand that I could easily get. This one's more gnarled, so it's a lot harder to get the bark off of this one. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit off. So, just trying to at least thin up the bark a little bit before I do this. Close this up so I don't hurt myself or anybody. Alright, so now we've got to wet it, and I'm gonna remember to make a hole first. And I actually want this one deeper, so I'm gonna make this one a bigger hole. Alright, now wet it, dip it, and the directions were not to have this in thick clumps, so I'm just putting it on there, not thick clumps. You can see it's kind of white. Put it in the hole, and then pack that in there. Alright, so I'm going to do that with the rest of, I'm going to put 4 in each pot, and then I will do the same thing I've done with the honey method. Pause it for now. Okay, I paused it for a few minutes so that I could get these into the dirt here so that you didn't have to sit there and watch that. I did go back in the house and get, this was the one from the first video. As an update to show you, this one still got really nice leaves on it. This one's getting nice leaves but also a little wilty at the same time. This one has 3 stems, and I think I'm going to take this one off because that's not doing it any favors, and plant that one up. And then this one back here, this is wilty and dying really bad. So even though this is the smaller one, and I thought that this might have the best hope of taking, it's not looking good. So I think I'm actually going to remove this and replace it with either make that small branch here, or actually, yeah, I think I will do that.
I'm gonna take it off.
So I'm gonna snip this piece off down here so that this plant can be a little stronger. Get the angle on it. So this one I'm gonna take out of here, and I'll bring it over to show closer to the camera. So that one, get it focused. You can see it's kind of dying and not looking so good. So I'm gonna maybe try doing something different with this one, cutting into smaller pieces, and maybe it will come back, but I'm not all that hopeful for this particular branch. So, slipping in some mud over here. Alright, so this is the branch I just took off from over there. Yeah, I'm gonna actually put it back in that pot, I think. Scrape this up a little bit. Now it looks like the one that's here, I didn't scrape up all that much. Like I did, but I don't see green on it, but it has also been sitting in the pot for like almost 2 weeks. Alright, so that's scraped up a bit. Dip it in water. Dipping it in rooting hormone here. Get that all over. And then I'm gonna put it down in that hole and see if that does better for this particular plant. So this one is doing well, but as I said, I took off this extra piece because I feel like that's just gonna make it struggle at that point. I did notice that this one here has a broken branch, which kind of looks like one of my kids messed with it, but I can't say for sure. It was kind of broken, but I don't know if it was broken, I just never noticed it, or the kid messed with it. This one, take off the dead flowers. This one's still doing all right in the sense of it's making new leaves. So because this is making new leaves, I'm not going to mess with it. This one's still making new leaves. It's got some of the old leaves, but I feel like it's still all right. I am going to take off some of the extra branches here because I don't think that they're doing this any favors. So I'm just going to have the nice alive branches on here and see if taking off some of these extras helps it out. So we'll see how that goes. The tip of this is kind of dead, so I'm going to nip the tip off this one. As I said, anything to help these get a root established is what I'm going for right now, because I would like these to live. So I might actually, since this is 2 big ones, I think I might actually take one of these and move it. So this branch is this branch is like dead but not dead. So I'm I'm just gonna put that to the side for a minute, but let me look at this. Because I didn't intend to take anything else off of this, because it is doing alright, so I think I might take this branch over here off, just to help this get a little bit more established with the roots. So I'm going to take off one branch that's still definitely alive, leave that one so that it puts more energy into its roots, and I kind of wish I put that one in this pot instead, but I'm going to put it over here. Find a nice deep hole here. Watch out, dude. Going to.
Tell me to watch out.
Yep, I said watch out. Bless you. Alright, so I've got a few planted up in here, a few planted up in there. I'm going to close the rooting hormone for a minute so I don't get anything into it. And my pot A here is going to be the honey attempt. So I'm going to make up 2 holes here and make sure that these are deep enough. Alright, so make them kind of big. Make that kind of big. Okay. And I will come over to the camera and do this. I'm going to take my gloves off because I don't want to get dirt all over the honey container because it's my honey in the house. Alright, coming over to the camera. Hang on a second, gotta open fruit snacks. Maybe. It's really hard to open, dude. There you go, just in your chair. Okay, so my plan is to just drip some honey on that. You can see it's kind of, it pulled back a bit there. I got the bark off of it. I'm going to peel a little bit more bark off. And then this one, I've got it kind of open. You can see, like it's open there. Alright. So now I'm going to get some honey, and I'm going to attempt to drip some honey on this and see how this goes. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Let me make sure that this is focused. Right over here, okay. Try dripping a little honey. So the reason I'm doing honey was my mom was very adamant that honey would help it grow new roots. I have never heard that. I don't know if she's tried it because I don't remember my mom actually rooting plants before, or if it's like one of those Facebook things she saw. But I thought it was worth a try because I am trying experimentally to make this work. Since I have some big drips here, I'm going to actually just work this onto the second branch because I don't think I need it super thick, which it kind of is right now. And hopefully you can see this. I'm trying to make sure that this is staying on camera for you. So I'm rubbing honey all over the exposed bit here. And I'm going to put these 2 in dirt and see how that works. Alright, so pot A is honey. Right there. Now I'm going to put my gloves back on, pack that down, because I don't like dirt all over my hands. Alright, so I got this one packed in, and this one packed in. So pot A is the honey pot. Alright, so I'll put that aside for a minute. So pot B, I'm not planting right now. What I'm going to do with this one, this is my other experiment, is this is going to be root hormone in water for a couple days. And I want to see if that does anything for or against the plant's water with root hormone. Because, as I said, right now, this is all experimental. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying different methods. I'm trying tall branches, I'm trying short branches, I'm trying root hormone, I'm trying honey, and now I'm trying root hormone in water. And I have no idea what we're gonna end up with here. So I am gonna strip this down the same way I did for every other one, because I'm gonna keep that a consistent part of this experiment. And that does seem to be an overall, everybody's telling me to do it. In fact, my next door neighbor pulled me aside for a minute while I was on pause, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? Because he's all in the gardening and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm trying to make these cherry blossoms grow, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, make sure that you take the bark off the bottom part. So I thought that was funny. He's an old Italian guy, and I've never seen him do anything with trees other than they have this really old fig tree, but I've never seen them root up anything like stick-wise. So I don't know if it's something he did way back when, but yeah, I thought that was funny that he's like, oh, make sure to take the bark off. So I'm like, all right, that's something I'm gonna keep as a constant in this experiment we're doing. All right, so I've got 2 that have been stripped. This was one of those other branches that was looking that, hey, why not? Instead of throwing it out, I'd rather turn it into part of the experiment here. Oh, the bark comes off nice and easy off this one. I can see the green on that one. I don't know if you can see that from there. All right, so I'm only gonna put a little bit of water in the bottom of this so that they're not like soaking in water. So I'm gonna move that in the house to mix that in there a little bit. So that is my video for today, with an update to seeing how these are doing since their first video, which they're doing all right, they're still alive. And then these new ones that have been sitting in water and are now planted. So wish me luck, because I am just winging this so hard. All right, have a great day.